Woo! We are going straight to the island in the sky. Man, I just love this sense of adventure and wonderment that this gives me. It's truly, truly unbelievable. One Piece, chapter 236. The ship sails to the sky. Oh man, this is the most fun that I've had in years. Let me center myself now. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another chapter review on the awesome and tantalizing adventure-soaked tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us, saw the Straw Hats really, heading out towards and finding the whirlpool that they presume to be where the knock-up stream is going to take place. And really that's how the chapter left off, was this giant whirlpool that they're kind of, starting to sail into and go towards the middle of. So that's where we left off. That's where we pick up over here. And it's kind of funny because they go in there, as they're going into it, and Shoujou and Masira are just kind of like, all right, you guys are on your own from here now, and we got you there, and good luck to you, right? And they're like, oh, thanks, and this and that. So as they're going and heading into this whirlpool a little bit further, and again, this is only a couple of pages into the actual chapter, all of a sudden we go and this whirlpool and everything, and they think that everything's going good. The whirlpool just kind of like stops. And all of a sudden things kind of get better. It's still dark because that Emperor Cloud being above them, but all of a sudden everything just stops. And they're like, oh no, we missed it. What the hell? We did everything right. We did this, we did that. And, Nami's kind of like, what the shit? And they show it from overhead, and it looks like the whirlpool is just kind of just stopping, And this is prior to that. I mean, prior to that, they were going into this thing, and Usopp's freaking out, and everybody's, oh my God. Yeah, as they were heading towards the middle of it, but then, as I said, everything just kind of got calm and stopped. So then, as if perfect timing, right? All of a sudden, Blackbeard and his log, it looks like the four huge logs that are strewn, that were like lashed together with this cool look. I actually like his symbol. Is like three skulls, it's actually pretty cool. His Jolly Roger, I guess you would call it, the symbol on his flag. But anyway, he's like, oh, we caught up to you in time, didn't we, Luffy? And he's like, I want that 100 million berry bounty that's on your head. And Luffy's like, what? My head's worth 100 million berries? And he's like, yeah, why, you didn't know? And it just, the comedic things like that crack me up, because here's like this bad, guy, or was presumed to be this antagonist, that wants Luffy's head, and he stops to be like, wait, you mean you're not aware that you're worth 100 million berries? And then he holds up the poster, then he holds up and he goes, and Pirate Hunter Zoro is worth 60 million berries. And this was the part that cracked me up, right? So then it goes back to the ship, and Usopp's looking through his like spy glasses type deal, his binoculars, and he's just like, yeah, he's right, he's got the wanted posters for him, and hey, Zoro, you're worth 60 million, So, and then Sanji's like, is there one for me? And he's like, nope. He goes, check again. Nope. And then you see Zoro, and he's like, 60 million. Psh. Like, that's nothing, right? And then you see Nami go, 100 million. And you can just like tell her wheels are turning, So it's just so funny, because he's just like, so Nami goes and she's like, it must be after the incident in Alabasta, and they weren't even aware, which I thought was kind of funny, that they weren't aware. I mean, they're not keeping track of what their current bounties are, and it isn't like it's an age or a world it's like not like the world that we live in as far as everything being connected. I mean, now if Justin Bieber farts in public, you see it all over every news outlet and Twitter and Facebook and everything else, and it's just like, who cares, man? Who cares about this washed up disease? But anyway, that's getting off the beaten path there. I don't even know where that came from, but you know what I mean. Just the point is that it's not as connected. Things actually still have to travel, by bird and by stuff like that. It's not the communication isn't what it is here. So, so I thought that was funny though. So anyway, so they're like, so we presume they're coming after him to, to go and take Luffy in, or get the bounty that's on his head, because now we know that Blackbeard's end game is that he wants to be one of the 7 warlords, one of the Shichibukai. So, very cool stuff over here, because I didn't know if they'd actually meet up or see each other anytime soon, or if it was just kind of one of those like, we'll catch up, sometime. So so they're confronting, and then it's funny because we go and we get Masira and Shoujou, and they're kind of like, okay, hey, you guys, pay attention, it's about to happen, And first they didn't even know. They're like, when they saw Blackbeard, they're like, are they friends? Are they not? But anyway, they're like, I hope they're getting ready here, So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's great, because it's kind of like the calm before the storm, right? Everything winds up happening. You see glub, glub, glub under the water, and that whirlpool was just the start of the knock-up stream. That was all that water getting sucked down into that cavity, and now underground, under the sea, not my crotch, because that's where I was pointing, but yeah, under the sea. And it all gets sucked into this big cavernous, like, pit or whatever, I guess, underground, undersea. And then the warm air, that steam, goes and heats it and turns into steam and causes this kind of geyser-like thing to come up, this knock-up stream. So all of a sudden, man, just this thing just appears, this wall of water going straight up. And it's really cool because you see it in this double-page spread over here. I should have actually pulled to the page because it is a neat-looking one, and it's something that I should show you. And you see Blackbeard's ship was not reinforced and not set up for this journey, and Blackbeard's ship looks like it got tore the funk apart, man. His sail's gone, the logs are flipping, everything else. So I don't know if all of his guys are going to make it, how they're going to make it, or what. I just know that his ship got foobarred. So then we go, and it's really kind of cool because we go and then see back Cricket, who's sitting back, chain smoking, just chilling back on the eastern, eastern coast of Jaya, and he's sitting there smoking his cigarettes, kind of all nervous for them, And he goes and he looks up, and boom, he sees out in the sea, he sees the knock-up stream. This thing is just huge, man. This looks like a giant hurricane, maelstrom, tornado, whatever you want to call it. It's huge, right? Giant wall of water going into the sky. Very, very cool, epic looking thing. And then Shoujou and Masira are like, yeah, get to the Sky Island, So then the next part of the chapter takes place with us actually, being on the knock-up stream, which is cool, So it isn't like this thing just went and hit them from underneath like a geyser and they're sitting on top of it like in a cartoon. They're riding this thing. They're riding this thing up the side of it, right? And I just thought the whole concept was great. And they're all down in the cabin trying to hold on to something as right as this thing happened. They're like, hang on to something, And they're like, we're riding this current straight up, this current of water and air, And then it's kind of neat because you get Sanji's like, listen, I'm going to be the bearer of bad news, but we got a problem here. If we tilt back even in the slightest, we're going to like fall out. You know what I mean? Because yes, even though we're riding straight up on this current, we're going to actually fall out of the water and gravity's going to bring us back down, right? So they're like starting to freak out. Everybody's flipping. Then they go and they see this huge sea king that they had actually seen, right, that was caught in the whirlpool with them. And they're like, oh man, this thing kind of like flies out and there's debris. And they're basically just showing that, anything that was not set up right and didn't have the perfect amount of luck and everything that Luffy and the Straw Hats have is pretty much just getting destroyed, because you see, again, the Sea King get fluttering, and they're like, that's going to happen to us, and Usopp's freaking. And it's pretty neat, though, because then they go, and Zoro goes, and he's like, open up the main sail, And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, no, you don't get it. There's a current of water, but there's also a current of warm air that's coming up with it. We can ride this sumbitch just like we would ride in the sea, You angle the sails where you need to go, and the wind pushes you, right? So it was really kind of cool how everybody came together, because then, somebody's like, yeah, this and that, and then Nami's like, and who's the navigator? Because she says we got to get this, and we can do that, and we can go to hard to port. And she's like, and who's the navigator? And then everybody's like, you are, Nami. And so they're getting the sails, and everybody listen to Nami, right? So they're getting the sails going, and they're cruising up on it, and they're riding on this, knock-up stream. And there's this funny word bubble too, where Nami's describing what's going to happen and everything, and Sanji's just like, I love you too now, or I love you, Nami. Thank you, I love you, something like that, And she's just like, all right, we got to go this way, we got to go that way, and she's shooting out the directions. And it's great because the chapter and the whole volume actually ends, and it really, it almost sucks because it ends on, thank God there's another one I can just dive right into here, but it winds up kind of ending on, here, Nami, if we're just going up against the sea and wind, we can navigate it. And who's this ship's navigator? And you get the resounding, you are, Nami. And so she starts shooting out the orders, everybody's going, blah, blah, blah. We're cruising up, we're flying and kind of flying right along and up this stream, right? And they got to get, and then, Luffy's like, are we almost there? And he's asking, because they've been flying, obviously, for a while. And she's like, no, we got to, if there is an island up there, if Skypiea is up there, we got to get up above those clouds. And he's like, oh, wow, above the clouds, And it's so great because Luffy's just got this sense of wonderment on his face, like a little kid, and I just love it. It's that, I have kids, and it's that childlike look, it's that childlike innocence, I shouldn't say childlike look. It's when you can look at something and you're not all negative about it because of all the things that have happened to you over the years you've been alive in the world. It's when you can just look up at just like the stars or fireworks or just something and be so impressed with the majesty and the greatness of it that you forget about all the world's cares, And it was just so neat because Luffy's just got that look, He's just got that look, to me anyway. And I just think it's great, So let's head straight for the Emperor Cloud. And they're like, yeah, So they're cruising up this thing, and man, a lot of things had to fall into place. And then of course just the near miss with Blackbeard and everything else. Boy, I tell you, my chapter question, And really, you know, it kind of has to do with this whole thing. What do you think about how everything was kind of created and envisioned from Oda with just with this whole knock upstream deal? I think it's actually kind of cool the way it's described and explained and everything else. And even though a lot of it like defies the laws of physics and gravity and everything else, who cares, man? You know, I mean, I love watching movies like Journey to the Center of the Earth because even though the shit's impossible for what we know, it's cool, you know. So I'm a big kid at heart. I'm an adventurous type person at heart and just really love this type of stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are on the knock upstream and just the explanation of it and how the whole thing, you know, with them riding the wall of water and, you know, what your thoughts are on that. And leave your answer in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it. And subscribe if you have not done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation. Oh my God, we're all gonna die! Luffy, please!